What's up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. I am finally gonna do something I've been putting off for a while now. I'm gonna be doing a Blackmagic 6K G2 rig build. I mainly been putting this off for a while because I didn't feel like taking everything apart and then putting it back together, because some pieces of this can take a long time to put together, but let's get into it. You'll also notice that a lot of my stuff is Smallrig. Like 99% of the stuff on my rig is Smallrig. I'm not sponsored by them. They don't pay me, but Smallrig, if you would want to do like a brand partnership, I would love that because I truly love your products. They're extremely reliable. I've tested them in a diverse, amount of scenarios, and yeah, they've been great for me. So starting out, the camera is already in the cage as is. Once again, this is a Smallrig cage. So yeah, let's just start from the cage. So we're already in the cage. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my top handle. This top handle is a has a 3/8 screw going through it. And it also has these locating pins. Locating pins really help to keep it in place, to keep it from loosening. And that's really important because for me, I carry this camera a lot by the top handle. And so, knowing I have the screw in there is great. That's obviously the main thing that's holding it in there. But also knowing that, hey, it's these two pins in there that help prevent the screw from rotating is extremely reassuring. So we got that. All right. And I kind of just stick this Allen key in there and kind of just work to tighten it just to keep it from going anywhere. Um, One thing I also really love about Smallrig products is how they include the tools with all of their products. So I have a side handle right here. In the bottom of it is this Allen key, and it's magnetic, so it just stays there. And that's actually the next thing I'm going to be adding. So I'm just going to screw this in. And this has two screws on the side handle, so I try to screw them in a little bit at the same time instead of screwing one all the way in and then screwing the other one all the way in. I try to screw each of them in little by little. And like I said before, with the Allen key, I can enter it into the slot here and I can tighten it really easily. All right. So that's tightened. It feels secure, not going anywhere. Okay, so we are good with that. The next thing we're going to be putting on is this magic arm that also has a clamp on it. So this is once again Smallrig. Uh, Everything you see here is Smallrig except for the battery, just to preface. So yeah, this is the magic arm, and it's got this nice little clamp on it. So you can really, put anything in the clamp. Sometimes I'll put a microphone in there. I've put an SSD in there before. Yeah, you can just pretty much use it for anything. You can use it for a light if you wanted to, but it's a really, really useful tool. So this goes in the top of my side handle. All right, and then I kind of just adjust where it's sitting at. All right, so we got that. All right, so this right here is actually a really good rig as is. You got something to protect your camera, but you also are able to hold on to it with the side handle and the top handle. So this is great as is, but because the Blackmagic camera is one that has a few deficiencies, you kind of need to add a little bit more just to compensate for those deficiencies. So now we're going to move on to our rails base plate. So uh, we have this here. base plate. We're gonna mount this onto the bottom. And this actually might take a little bit of time just because of how this particular base plate gets set up. I think I'm actually gonna get a base plate that is like a little bit smaller than this one, a little bit lighter, and one that can be set up in less time. So I gotta attach this other plate to the base plate. Just to get that going. And one thing I like to do for this plate, it has 4 screws, so 4 places to screw it in. One thing I like to do is screw in the first 2 screws diagonally. I feel that that really just helps you to position it, put it into the right place. So we're putting in our screws diagonally first. Another Smallrig product. This has been probably my favorite product of theirs. This is a multi-tool. It's only $20. I think it might be a little over $20, but this is an extremely reliable, I mean, extremely efficient tool. Like it's fantastic. My tripod was actually kind of like leaning, like it wasn't tightening the way that it should. And using this, I was able to tighten up the screws, and I didn't need to get a new tripod, which would have been hundreds of dollars. So I'm just going to use this to finish assembling the base plate. So then I can actually attach the base plate. And I think what's great about this multi-tool is that, Smallrig probably uses like maybe a dozen different, fasteners when it comes to like the size of their fasteners and the types of fasteners. And this is pretty much like a universal product. So, you know, no matter pretty much whatever base plate you have, tripod you have, top handle, side handle, probably even the mat box. Like pretty much if it's a small rig product that you need to fasten things on, like this is going to be the perfect multi-tool for you. And I'm now realizing I made a mistake, so we're going to go back. All right, now starting with the real first step. So turning this nearly upside down. And then I'll start screwing it in just a little bit. Holding this it can be like so awkward sometimes because of the angle that you're at. Okay, so we got it in there. My main thing when hooking this up is like I am really working to make sure that like it is even on each side. And then we grab the multi-tool once again. And we actually tighten this up. All right, so now that is nice and secure. When it comes to like cages overall, I've always been someone who's like used the cage on the camera. I like to mount different accessories, and I also like to protect my equipment. And I feel like the best way to do that is to, add a cage on it, add some handles. All right, so now we can rock with the bottom plate to put that on the bottom. So yes, this base plate actually has like a base plate attached to it. Um, and this is really the heavy duty one. And I actually bought this because I was planning it to use with my R7, like, you know, in case I ever, uh, come on, in case I ever wanted to like attach a battery to that. One screw in, two. So definitely the next base plate I'm getting is going to be it's another Smallrig one, but it has like a plate on the bottom of it where like you flip a latch and it immediately becomes disconnected from the base plate. And you can detach your rails, all your accessories that are connected to that, and it's just a much more efficient use of your time. All right, so tug it a little bit, tug it a little bit. All right, so we are good to go with that. All right, so base plate connected. All right, so now we got our, I believe these are aluminum rods. These are 8 inches long. I had some 4 inch long ones, but when I got the when I got the battery to go on the back of my camera, it just wasn't long enough. Uh, so yeah, we ended up opting for these. All right, and I really kind of just eyeball it in terms of like, is this positioned in the right place? If these rods are like pushed in the same amount. So kind of just eyeballing it, not the most probably professional way, but it works. And I'm just continuing to tighten latches. Jeez, this one is really giving me a tough time. Okay. All right. So we have our rails on the back right there. Okay. Now what we're going to add is our battery V-mount plate. All right. I know this sounds weird because like things are supposed to work, but I love when everything like comes together in the way that you expect it to. Like nothing was engineered incorrectly, nothing was designed wrong. It's just like, oh, this fits perfectly. Love that. Um, but yeah, okay. So have our base plate attached to the back. Now, this is not a Smallrig product. I know, it's pretty crazy. This is a Indie Pro battery. These things are great. I work with a client where, it was other videographers there too, and they use Indie Pro batteries. And I really just got to see how reliable these things are. And they are pretty inexpensive if you know where to shop it. All right, slides right in there perfectly. and plug that thing in. Perfect. All right. Now, one thing we're gonna do, I'm gonna slide this up a little bit. Now, one thing that I got recently is this right here. This is a chest plate. So what it basically allows you to do is it attaches to the back of the rails on your camera, and it allows you to kind of just rest your camera against your chest or against another part of your body. And the reason this is so important to have, and the reason why it's important to have so many handles on a Blackmagic camera is because this camera is a little heavy and it doesn't have in-body image stabilization. So how do we, correct that deficiency? Well, we increase our points of contact. So where we can hold on to the camera, because the more we can hold on to the camera, the more we can increase the points of where it touches us, like on our body, then we are able to get more stable footage. So, all right. So it's a little, so you see it kind of tilts a little bit. But if you actually put on like a tripod base plate, it'll actually like be even. So it kind of tilts a little bit, but that'll be okay for now. Nothing's getting broken. We're perfectly fine. All right. Also have this. I need to get a shotgun microphone. I've been borrowing one for a while, but just from a friend occasionally when I use one. But a lot of the time I've been using my Rode Wireless Go microphones. So, all right, we're gonna line this up correctly. Try our best to. Look at it. First try. I'm honestly doing better than I thought with how fast this is going. All right, so we got that. So look where we are now, right? We got our top handle, our side handle. We got this magic arm with a clamp on it. We have our Indie Pro battery. We have our chest plate that we can just press against our chest. All right, we get a lot of stability from shooting like that. And next we're gonna put on is my main lens I use with this. This is the Sigma 18 to 35. It is a pretty popular lens, over 10 years old, but it's extremely reliable. It produces really sharp images. One thing I try to do with all of my cameras is if I know I'm about to expose the sensor, I move like really fast. Um, so I try not to even give it like a second worth of like being exposed to the environment. So this is pretty much almost done. So you can see it here. All right. It's great looking, beautiful looking camera. One other thing that I have doesn't actually go on the rig, but it pretty much goes out with me whenever I take this camera out. We have right here, this is a Smallrig V-mount belt clip. This is fantastic. What this allows you to do is essentially attach any V-mount battery to your belt. So, you can just clip this on the side of you. All right, and then once you clip it on the side of you, you can clip the battery like that. And so it allows you to just redistribute the weight from the rig itself to your actual body. This battery weighs a little bit over a pound, and so that may not seem like a ton of weight, but you definitely notice the difference if you've been shooting for a long time and your body starts to get used to this, heavier weight. And then once it gets a little bit lighter, you feel a lot more relief. Then I have one more thing. I haven't put it to use yet, but this right here is a SSD holder. So you can insert a SSD in here, all right, and it clamps around it. So I could just put it like, right here. All right. So, and I can put an SSD in here. I have to get a longer cable for the SSD that I have. But yeah, this is pretty much the rig. Sit it a little taller for you to see. But yes, this is it right here. And yeah, this thing is nice. Usually when I'm shooting, my hand positions, so you can probably watch from the side. So I take my left hand. My hand actually goes underneath the lens, and I have my ring finger and my pinky finger zooming in and out. But with my pointer finger and my thumb, what I'm doing with that is I am shifting my focus. All right. And this handle right here, yes, I can use it to hold, right? If like, the subject's not moving or anything like that, I can use it to hold. But what I can also do is let this handle rest on my left hand. All right. So when I do that, it can't tilt, right? It can't tilt because here, if I can tilt a lot easier, but if I can't tilt like this. And so right now, I am looking at 4 points of contact because the handle is resting on my forearm, the lens is in my hand, my right hand has the right side of the camera, and then I have this chest pad pressed against my chest. And so this allows me to like pretty much adapt to, any situation, even situations where I have to do a lot of moving. It's just a setup that's really secure. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed me build out this rig. And I'm going to be doing a review soon on my new bag that I got specifically for this rig. It's called the Tinba. It's this pretty huge. It's basically a huge duffel bag, almost, looks like a suitcase. But it's meant so that you can build out your entire rig and carry it in that bag so that you don't have to disassemble it and then reassemble it a whole lot. I really don't like doing that, having to disassemble and rebuild. Yeah, I like one and done type of thing. So, yeah, I'll be doing a review on that soon, and see you guys next time.